Hello boys and girls, hope you're well today. In this video we're going to be discussing chapter 9, lessons 2 and 3. Yeah, we're doing 2 lessons in one video. It's pretty easy, that's why. These lessons cover adding and subtracting fractions with like or common denominators. You've already done this in 3rd and 4th grade, which is why I'm covering addition and subtraction in one video. The biggest problem that 5th graders have when they go to add and subtract fractions is that they add and subtract the denominators. Never. Denominators are kind of a funny animal in terms of numbers. They look like numbers, but they don't behave like numbers. They behave like labels because that's what they really are. Here's what I mean. I'm going to show you these Hershey bars that I've drawn, okay? And we're going to add them together. So my first Hershey bar at the top, you can tell I've colored in red. What is the fraction that I've colored in red? Well, to find that out, you see I've got 1 square red, and out of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 squares. So this represents 1 of 5, 1/5. My next Hershey bar represents, now I have 2 colored squares, so my numerator is 2 of a total of, once again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 squares. So you can see this Hershey bar represents 2/5. So if I wanted to add these 2 fractions together, with my models, you can see that 1/5 plus 2/5, if I just look at the models and ignore the algorithm, I can see that I have 1, 2, 3 of 5, so 3/5. So the equation looks like this. 1/5 plus 2/5 equals 3/5. So I'm adding my numerators, but I am not adding my denominators. How come? Well, I'm not adding the denominators because each of my Hershey bars is still cut into 5 pieces, fifths. This is 1 whole and this is 1 whole. So if I added my denominators, that would be tenths. That would mean that no longer is this 1 whole and this 1 whole. I would have to do the whole, all of this would now be 1 whole. And you can't just change Hershey bars like that. So that is why we do not add or subtract denominators. We only add and subtract the numerators. That is the #1 silly issue that I see 5th graders, the mistake that they make when we have common denominators. So for today's assignment, you're going to be doing 2 separate pages, one from each of the 2 lessons that we're talking about. So you'll be working on page 621 and page 627. Now, when you do these, your instructions say add or subtract. Write each sum in simplest form. It says on page 621. What does that mean? That means they want you to reduce the fraction. When these books were published, it was a 5th grade standard to reduce or simplify fractions. That is no longer the case, but the publishers have not made that change yet in your books, so I will make that change for you. It is not necessary for you to reduce your fractions to their simplest form. In 6th grade, that will change. You will have to reduce them. So for those of you who wish to reduce them in simplest form, you can. Let's see, here's one. Let's try 1, and I'll show you about reducing, but don't tell anyone, because you're not supposed to know, okay? It's a secret. Let's say, for example, we have, this is our equation. 3, no. See, that's what happens when I do it on the fly, but that's okay. Okay, 3/8 plus 1/8. So once again, I'm only going to add my numerators, 3 plus 1. That gives me 4/8. I would accept that as a correct answer. However, in 6th grade, you will have to take that answer and reduce it to its simplest form, which means you must find the greatest common factor of the numerator and the denominator, which for 4 and 8 is 4, right? 4 goes into 4 and 4 goes into 8. And then what you do is divide. 4 divided by 4 is 1. 8 divided by 4 is 2. So your lowest answer would be 1/2. Now, many of you could see that 4 over 8. You instinctively know that that is 1/2, but that's the math of it. That's how you calculate it to get it. This will be required in 6th grade. It is not required right now, although I know that some of you will do it anyway because you're smart. However, I will accept either this answer or this answer, whichever one you prefer. If you have any questions about either one of those assignment pages, please feel free to email me or bring your questions to class and we will tackle them there. Thank you so much. We'll see you again. Bye now.